All right. Now we are going to interview Mr. Gilad. He's from an Institute of Economic Justice, and this obviously is around the Economic Recovery Plan. Thank you very much for joining us, Gilad. Of course, we are hearing rumours. There has been a leaked document around the Economic Recovery Plan, focusing on infrastructure investment, talking about boosting our network industries and so on. But what is it that you would like to come out of the Economic Recovery Plan, given our economic constraints and background?
Excellent, thanks. Yes, so we've seen a number of these leaked plans. There is a cabinet PowerPoint presentation. There is the NEDLAC economic proposal. And yesterday the proposal from the Presidential Economic Advisory Council. There's a number of what seem to be important elements in these plans. For instance, on ESCOM, on infrastructure recovery, on expanded employment programs. However, there are really three main weaknesses which we've seen and which we'll obviously be able to assess if those are maintained or resolved. The first is that there's no mention of the economic rescue in the short term. So we know that at the end of October, it's the expiration of the emergency social grant measures. If those aren't reinstated, up to 6 million people face hunger. Same for the employment support funds, and a number of other emergency rescue measures. So you can't really speak about a medium-term recovery if we are not ensuring the sustainability of businesses and households in this immediate term period.
Yes.
The second issue is that it doesn't really deal with the macroeconomic policy environment. And the third is that the proposals there lack a systemic alteration of the economy. So, for instance, in the green economy, it seems to focus on waste recycling, which is important, but which in no way is going to systemically alter our economy in the face of the enormous environmental challenges faced.
So Gilad, in terms of, we understand that the presidential economic advisors have said to National Treasury that the kind of cuts that they wanted to make, because in the supplementary budget they were talking about making savings of about 230 billion rand over a period of 3 years. They're saying that that's just not going to work because it's going to suffocate any prospects for economic growth. Presumably you would agree with that.
Absolutely. And in fact, it's something we've been arguing over the entire year. What we have to be balancing here is that there's no doubt that there is a medium-term need to ensure our fiscal sustainability and to assess borrowing and revenue. But what would be foolhardy is to institute budget cuts in the short term, which would actually see a shrinkage in the size of our economy and a shrinkage in revenue. And these are the type of dangers which are cautioned against.
Dr. Isaacs, I wanted to ask you around the issue of the public sector wage bill. Of course, many people, particularly from the private sector, economists saying that that needs to be slashed in a major way. How do you think that can be done? Because natural attrition presumably won't be enough.
Yes, no, and this remains a highly contentious issue. The first thing is that it would be essential that it is done, that any alteration is undertaken in collaboration with unions and is not unilaterally imposed, or else we face the risk of industrial action and the unraveling of a social contract in South Africa. The next is that attention needs to be paid to the structure of the public sector. Where is it where various cuts are most viable, which is at the upper end of the income scale, and where is it in which we need to actually expand public service delivery and improve wages, which is often at frontline services like in healthcare. So it's not a uniform entity, the wage bill. Finally, we need to also think about the fact that these wages play an important role in supporting a wide range of family members and in providing important economic spending in the economy. So any alteration to the medium-term agreement needs to be done with these factors in mind.
Very much, Dr. Gilad Isaacs. He's from the Institute of Economic Justice. We're going to have more news for you after a short break. Do stay tuned.